Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone! Today I'd like to share my assignment titled The Articulation of English Sound, Supra-Segmental Sound. This topic focuses on the features like stress, intonation, and rhythm, which are often challenging for Indonesian learners. These sounds go beyond vowels and consonants and play a big role in how natural and clear our English sounds. In this presentation, I'll explain the suprasegmental sound are, why they matter, and how they affect English pronunciation. So, let's get started. The first question is the best of your knowledge. Is having a good pronunciation is important in English? For my opinion, I would say yes. As an English education student, I strongly believe that good pronunciation is important because it ensures clear communication, builds a confidence, and sets a positive example for learners. Also, according to Andika and Arafah B 2017 assert that if the students don't have good pronunciation, people will consequently have serious problem of understanding what they say, even if they correct grammar and large number of vocabularies. Therefore, the learners need to know how to pronounce what they want to say properly. All they say in English is important as how they should say it. It indicates that the proper pronunciation is essential to them to have natural and correct English pronunciation if they want to easily understand native English speakers and what the native English speakers to understand them. The second question is the relation to question number 1. What should learners of English do in order to have a good pronunciation? So, my answer is learners of English should actively listen to and mimic a native speaker, master vowel and consonant sounds, understand stress and intonation, use phonetic tools like IPA, record themselves, seek feedback, and down difficult words, and immerse themselves in English media. The strategy supported by Andika and Arafah B 2017 highlight that in order to have natural and correct pronunciation, the learners need to: the first is have a knowledge of making correct sound, both consonant and vowels, and the second is know how to pronounce words correctly with special attention to stress, and the third is make correct intonation, the use of rising and falling tones when constructing different types of sentence. All aspects are not above obviously deal with phonetic. Phonetic as a study of speech sound of spoken language make efforts to describe two important things concerning speech sound, namely and why physical properties of the sound exist in spoken language, or we know as acoustic phonetics, and how sounds are produced, or articulatory phonetics. And the next question is that do you agree with saying that segmental and suprasegmental are different? If yes, explain why and what are the difference. Yes, I agree that segmental and suprasegmental sound are different. They refer to two different aspects of pronunciation, both of which are crucial in learning and understanding spoken language. Segmental sound are the smallest unit in sentence of speech sound. This includes consonant and vowels, which are the basic building blocks of words. For example, in the word cat, the segmental sounds are key, A and T. According to Crane, Yeager, and Whitman, 1981, segmental sound focus on the individual sound or phonemes. In contrast, suprasegmental sound refers to the feature of speech that go beyond the individual sound. This includes stress, intonation, rhythm, and pitch. Suprasegmental sound affect the meaning, emotion, and emphasis in spoken language. For instance, the sentence "she's here" can have different meaning depending on the intonation, whether it's statement or a question. According to Machakova 2012, pronunciation influences both phonetics, how sounds are produced, and phonology, how sounds are organized in language. Cutford in 1992 adds that phonetics studies the physical and acoustic features of speech while phonology focuses on the sound system. This theory helps explain the difference between segmental and suprasegmental feature in pronunciation. Learning English pronunciation means mastering both segmental and suprasegmental sound feature. This is especially important for Indonesian learners because as a Palawa 2013 explained English and Bahasa Indonesia different both articulatory and acoustically. For example, some English sounds like a, dan something like that do not exist in Bahasa. Some sounds that exist in both languages are pronounced differently, which can cause a misunderstanding. Therefore, understanding segmental sound help learners pronounce words correctly, while mastering suprasegmental feature helps them speak more natural and effectively in communication. And the next question is, what do you think of the statement English pronunciation is very different from Indonesian pronunciation? To the best of my knowledge, what are the differences? Okay, my thoughts on whether suprasegmental sounds are problematic for Indonesian learners of English, and the answer is yes, they definitely are. Suprasegmental sounds such as word, stress, intonation, and rhythm go beyond individual sounds like vowels and consonant. And for Indonesian learners, word stress is one of the biggest challenges, according to Saiful 2008. Many Indonesian learners struggle to pronounce English words correctly because they don't fully understand how to place stress on the right syllables. This happens because English and Indonesian have different stress systems. In Indonesian, stress usually falls on the second to the last syllable, or sometimes there is no stress at all. But in English, the stress can fall on the first, middle, or last syllable, depending on the words. For example, the word like syllables and engagement and understand, it's all have a stress in the different position. This complexity can be confusing. As a Kelly 2000 points out that English stress patterns are the much more varied. So, the Indonesian learners speak, they often apply their native stress patterns to the English words, which can lead to misunderstanding. Let's take a clear example, the word record. When used as a noun, we say she wants to buy a record with the stress on the first syllable. But when it's a verb, we say she wants to record her speech with the stress on the second syllable. Indonesian learners often don't notice this change in stress, and it can make their speech sounds unnatural and unclear. This issue is also explained by Young Sirit in Zanten and Vision 1989, who states that Indonesian stress patterns are much simpler than English ones. That's why many learners feel stressed about stress. So, to conclude, yes, suprasegmental sound, especially word stress, are a real challenge for Indonesian learners of English. And as supported by experts like Saiful, Kelly, and others, it's clear that teaching this feature is important for improving pronunciation and overall communication. And the next question is, what do you know of suprasegmental sounds? Explain your answer in detail and support it with a theory as well. Suprasegmental sound refers to the feature of pronunciation that go beyond individual vowels and consonant sound. Unlike the segmental sounds, which are the smallest units of speech, such as phonemes, vowel consonant, suprasegmental feature includes stress, intonation, pitch, rhythm, and length. These elements do not occur at the level of individual sound, but instead operate over large units like syllable, words, or entire phrases. Quinn, Yeager, and Whiteman, for example, stress can distinguish word meaning and grammatical function. For the example, record and record. Likewise, intonation help convey attitudes, emotion, or sentence types. Rising intonation can indicate a question. Falling intonation often signals a statement or comment. From a phonetic perspective, suprasegmental features are a part of how sounds are produced and perceived. As Machakova 2012 states, pronunciation is studied within the broader field of phonetics and phonology, where phonetics explain how sounds are articulated and heard, and phonology looks at how sounds are organized in a language system. In addition, Gatford, in 1992, described phonetics as a focusing on the physiological and acoustic properties of speech, while phonology analyzes how these sounds function systematically in communication. Mastering suprasegmental feature is especially important for learners of English like Indonesian speakers because English uses stress, time, rhythm, and sequence reduction, which are very different from syllable time Indonesian pronunciation. As a result, Indonesian learners often struggle with placing stress correctly using natural intonation and applying vowel reduction, which can affect their fluency and intelligibility. And the last question is, do you think that supra-segmental sounds are problematic to Indonesian learners? How do you explain this problem? Yes, I think supra-segmental sounds are indeed problematic for Indonesian learners of English. This is especially true in the area of word stress as a key component of supra-segmental feature. Supra-segmental like stress, intonation, and rhythm operate beyond the level of individual sounds, and mastering them is crucial for achieving natural and intelligible English pronunciation. According to Saiful 2008, one of the most significant difficulties Indonesian learners face is the word stress. Many Indonesian speakers lack sufficient knowledge of where the place in stress in English words. This results in incorrect stress placement, often influenced by their L1 or first language patterns. Indonesian is a syllable time language, and stress is either placed on the penultimate syllable is not used at all. In contrast, English is a stress time language, and the stress syllable in a word appear the first, middle, and last position depending on the words. From Kelly 2000, for example, syllabus, engagement, and understand. These various make English stress pattern more complex than Indonesian ones because Indonesian speakers are used to predicatable stress patterns that often misplace stress in English words or omit altogether. This misplacement can lead to confusion or miscommunication. As an example, provided the word record, which show how stress changing the meaning. Record as a noun, and she wants to buy a record, and record, she wants to record her speech is a verb. Indonesian learners typically do not recognize that the same word can have different stress syllable depending on the grammatical function, making it harder to them to be understood to understand spoken English accurately. I think that's all. Alhamdulillah, we've come to the end of my presentation. The articulate of English sounds supra-segmental. I hope this explanation helped us understand how important stress, intonation, and rhythm are used in English pronunciation, especially for Indonesian learners like us. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.